Welcome to the Barcast podcast for 2021. We right here on the cusp of Bar Weekend. We're recording this on the 25th of November. Looking at my Garmin because I have not taken off my Garmin for the entire month. I don't have to charge it because everything for the entire month has been about building stats for this weekend, right? You want to know your oxygen consumption, you want to know your heart rates, however. I'm Salt.
And I'm George.
Have you got Darion, yeah, man. This is George's personal assistant. Make you sound bigger.
Yeah, you know. we should add that. We should add that he's a volunteer, and he's only here for the weekend bar.
Right. And so he is actually not really like too au fait with Bar. He's been following the page. He followed the page a bit, right?
Yeah.
And he's seen a few clips. But I thought it would be good to have him on here as we really excited about this weekend. We could get carried away. So
it's tend to become a little insiderish sometimes.
Yeah. So anything that you don't understand, Darion, you say, hey.
Definitely.
Yeah, you don't understand that. So first of all, like, what do you know about Bar so far? Like, let me see where base is starting from.
It started off, I just hearing about it at UE from the grapevine. I felt that it was very interesting, so I looked it up, and I saw that, it was an obstacle course, and it was Barbados made as well, so I was very interested in it. Yeah. I just didn't know how to go about helping out in any way. And
you were more interested in the volunteering aspect?
Exactly. Right. So then I saw that they had a volunteer for this particular position, which he labeled the worst job in the world.
he was honest.
But I said, you know what, this might be a hands-on about Bar, getting to understand what it's about. And so far, it's been pretty interesting, even though I've just been riding around in the car. It's like shotgun.
Right.
But I'm very interested in seeing more.
Right. You are a UE student?
Yeah, I'm a UE student.
You're athletic. You come out here with your guns out.
Basketball coach, a fitness coach for kids mainly.
Right.
So I try not to go outside of my region in that field. So.
Okay.
We might add that Bar is actually one of the approved give back programs. So give back is how university students earn their volunteer hours. So you submit your event to or organization to give back program, and once it's approved, then university students can access it to gain their volunteer hours towards their graduation.
Building some hours as well.
This is a lot of hours.
Right. Really? How many hours George has he put in for the week?
From what I see on the weekend, it's like 7 to 7.
Yeah.
And today, I'm not even sure how much hours it is. So
it's just 24 hours today for sure.
Yeah, that's rolling. All right, welcome to the family, though, to the tribe, man. Maybe you might get a shirt. Me.
We might discount it for him.
Yeah. So we get ready now for the weekend. We're starting off on Saturday with the... It's open wave on Saturday?
Open wave on Saturday morning, yeah. I feel like I should be interviewing you in this interview, though, because you're actually taking part as a competitor.
Yeah.
So Saturday morning, we have the open wave. We're going to have 2 waves. One is going, by now everything will be done, but people have been messaging me, asking me about prizes for the open wave. Right? And looking at some of the teams that I see enter the open wave, the open wave is going to be like sick competitive this year.
They're wicked though.
I mean, like seriously, like somebody just messaged me saying, and I think the reason they messaged me is because they did open wave last year.
Yeah.
They placed pretty high, and they felt like they should have gotten recognition.
Right.
Open wave, I can change that name. I can put fun wave because the open wave is really meant for people who want to go out there and just have the bar experience, right? You don't have to have 2 men and 2 women. Just go out there, run the course, enjoy it.
What Darion would be doing this year if he was to send for Bar. Like, you don't know what it is.
Correct. Just go out there and have fun with your friends, your family, or whatever. But because they win, I guess, last year, they feel that, as she said, it wasn't even a nod of recognition for the teams that win. And she feels that we should recognize at least the top 3 teams. Fire for that! If you want to be recognized, do the competitive wave. If you're out there riding for fun, you're riding for fun. How you can recognize when you got a team with 4 men and then you got a team with 3 men and 1 female? It's not really, you can't really compare apples to oranges.
Yeah.
So go around for fun, enjoy yourself, go and have a beer.
Then you got break it down into all these different categories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So go and have a beer at the end and have a drink. I start
men.
confusing my head about recognition.
Exactly.
So you're saying that basically there's a category where you can come in with some random people and just enjoy yourself?
Exactly, and just run it, because the competitive wave is 2 men and 2 women.
Yes.
And that's spread out over about 11 to 12K. that takes place on this Sunday afternoon. Those are the teams.
It's the marquee event.
That's the marquee event. And those are the people who are looking to go out there and podium and run for medals and so on. So if you say, well, no, we're just going out there for fun, and you happen to win, oh, Carol, me.
But not only that, but with the competitive ways, the rules are a lot more
very
stringent.
strict, exactly.
So it's
very
like
strict
you have to
criteria.
carry 3 logs up through the forest. You have to have a man and a woman do this obstacle. You have to have so many different things are required, right? And you cannot burpee out. So with the open wave, if you get to the obstacle and you try it 2 times and you ain't get through with it, you can just say, well, you know what, we can just do the burpees
as a team and move on.
And then if your team good at doing burpees, you can win.
Right. and even so, I don't think any volunteers, somebody do 25 burpees, nobody ain't locking off you and bring you back for 5.
Okay.
Right? So
it's a fun wave.
Carol me about recognition. Let me move on.
And you're definitely competitive with.
Yeah, it's definitely competitive. But I mean, if you all want recognition, you can hit me up on Instagram, Salt Oliver. I would definitely give you a post, man, for sure. As hard and fast as George.
Don't carry me with that nonsense.
I already said that this ain't gonna be team, but
I can talk because I know this podcast coming out after the event, right?
But I actually was about to lead by saying that I know James ain't doing that much.
Right.
So be social can probably get it out this evening or tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's hope not, because we're all registered.
You can't all register, man.
Right.
Actually, speaking of that though, the weather looking interesting for this weekend.
Listen, I got up, I get up real early.
Yeah.
And at 4 o'clock, I could hear thunder.
Really?
It rained for 3 hours consistently on the East Coast this morning.
Nice.
So when I call the gym and I asked Kathy, tell me when it start raining down there.
Yeah.
I called you back at 7 o'clock, still no rain. I drive town. I could see, the dust on the road from how dry it's been.
Yeah.
But pegs soak.
Because I was surprised when I heard that the rain was falling. I saw the Met Office put out
a flood warning.
A flood warning? Was it for what?
Yeah, exactly. So we have bar conditions, which is exactly what we like. We like it a little muddy. We like it a little sticky. It adds another element. So it could have changed the race for some people. Luckily, this time around, we have everything already set up.
Right.
So we're ready to go. All we got to do now is put some course marking tape on the course, and that's what Darian's going to do. I can send he out there with 10K tape. And I go sit down, it's an air conditioner, relax. But
a lot of people don't understand. Like one of the things people were still talking about recently would be the removal of the 5K from the, but people don't understand that it's still effort to even map out the course and to put out all the obstacles, and then you got Steven and the whole crew working. I see the men paint over all the 4-foot walls bigger than men.
Yeah.
For sure.
We had to replace them because we've been training with them for the better part of 3 or 4 months. Yeah. And in the elements at Peg, a lot of the play got rotten. Right. So we had to replace the faces of them. We had to paint them again. We had to put the logos on them.
So a lot of work going into this.
I tell people the reason we push so hard to make sure bar happens is that bar is an economy in and of itself. Right. By the time you look at renting the scaffolding for the skills, Stephen and his guys building walls. You got retail through the t-shirts and Pegs restaurant. And there's a whole thing, exactly. Right? So there's a lot of economic activity that's generated around and through bar. So we always try and push and make sure that it happens regardless of what's going on, which is why we've put all these things in place with the COVID protocols and so on. And I'm crossing my fingers that, I know by Monday we can know that nobody tested positive at all. Yeah. And we would have had on-site pre-event testing, and it would be good. Everything will be cool this weekend, and by the end of the weekend we'll know who the new national championship winner is for singles and teams. Yeah, you're going to get to that for sure. I know y'all watching and saying, wait, let me predict that. Yes, we're going to predict things, but we're just trying to make the podcast interesting before we get ourselves in trouble, because for the time that you make predictions, then the phones will start to go off. Actually, speaking of the economy of itself, one of the notes that I wanted to make for this podcast was that I really want everybody listening and watching, we go up the road all the time, and they're always so welcoming and accommodating. I actually got to meet the owners of the Farmhouse restaurant on Sunday, and I implore everybody, let's go there, support the restaurant, even in the off season, right? Because it's a nice place. A lot of people like to head to town and thing for breakfast, but Sunday breakfast up there is tops and it's farm to table, man. Yeah, and breakfast at Peg has become a thing now. People know about breakfast at Peg, especially Sunday mornings. You go up there. You take a little walk around the farm after you take the kids.
Yes.
So it's a nice experience altogether, for sure.
For sure. So we got the open wave. That's the first event on the calendar for this year. I keep hearing people talk about open wave for individual. What's that? I've never heard that before.
Right. So again, we decided that, there's some people out there who, again, they want to dip the toe in.
Yeah.
Like a Darian, for example, right? They want to dip the toe in, but they really had no time to practice on the obstacles. They really had no time to train as they would like. And they don't want to necessarily go in there and humbug the competitive people. Right? They don't want to go, and then maybe they feel a little intimidated. Right. So we created a little bit of an open way for those people who want to do singles, who they can't find a team, but they just want to go around the course. 3K fits into what they want to do because it's not as strenuous as maybe 5 or 10. So we've created a little open way for them as well. I think we have like 12 people registered for that.
This is the first year for
this
open
is the first year for open way.
I never heard about this.
Yeah, it was never there before. Right. So again, we recognize that, as bar starts to look more and more, and I think we're there now, looks more and more like a typical international OCR event. Persons who just want to try it might be a little bit intimidated. Right. So we want to make sure we give them an entry level that they could just go and run and have fun, because we're always saying this, but it is a big adult playground, so it gives them the opportunity to just go out there and play.
The thing about this weekend, though, is that I know we already mentioned that the team is the marquee event, and the team is the marquee event because that's where bar started. But you got highlights on Saturday and on Sunday, because like how you got a festival and one night you got Edwin Yearwood as the highlight, and then the next night you got Lil Ray as the feature. That's almost how it is now, because you can't pick one. You got to go to both. And first of all, spectators, the band covers the entire weekend.
Yeah, well, they would know this by now. Remember, well, I think James can get this out this season.
Gets out there.
James is doing 9. James, they play Hearts by the computer aside.
Solitaire, actually.
So if James is able to get it out for us, yes, there's remember, it's one event that's spread over the weekend. So you just buy one band, and that's $35. And again, the protocols, if you're fully vaccinated and you stay masked throughout, you're good. If you're not, then you have to do the on-site pre-event rapid test at a subsidized cost. It's only $20 for you, and that's sponsored by Bayview Labs. So I think that's, it would cost you $55 if you're not fully vaxxed for the entire weekend.
Right. All right, so now we going to Saturday's highlight, which is the competitive individuals.
Right.
It's a 3K course, Darian. So 20 obstacles? 20 obstacles and carries? I
think it's more than that, I think when we counted it, it ended up being like 23.
Which is super obstacle then.
So, I think I want an obstacle course race. I don't want a running race that got a few things to slow you down. And so we've added a couple more skills. We've added the anchors and flats. We've added back the container traverse. So anchors and flats there is it's another thing you swing rope, and one is shaped like an anchor and one is flat.
And like that, I don't even have to ask.
And then, as you would have seen this morning at PEG, we had 2 containers with some ropes going across.
Yes.
We call that the container traverse. You climb up the container and you go across the rope. And we're trying to make it so that the best all-round obstacle course athlete wins, and not the best runner or the best ninja athlete or the best carrier, but the best all-round obstacle course athlete wins. And I think we've managed to design a course that.
I feel like this year's course is the best course we've designed so far.
For sure.
For the individuals, at least.
Correct.
Yeah, because I know we're not going through the forest, and that's a bummer for the team, competitive team, but we're not getting there yet. So, categories for the competitive is just male and female.
Male and female. We have some age group categories as well, under 20, and then we consider everything to be from 20 to 35 to be open.
Right.
So if you come in that year, there's no age group prizes for you.
Good.
Then we go 35. That's like the people in the open wave that want prizes. You're too young for that. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
35 to 39, 40 to 44, 45 to 49, and over 50.
Over 50.
Yeah, so obviously in very small fields, we tend, like, for example, the women's field is smaller than usual this year.
Okay.
Right? So in very small fields, you don't do all those age group categories because everybody win a prize. So we just do.
I mean, I ain't gonna part of it that.
No, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Only beat who register, right?
Correct. So we just do open and masters then. So
okay.
So we do open, and then any females over 40 would win the masters category.
Over 40 is masters. Okay. So I guess it's time now to get into some predictions. If you hear.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
I can't really predict without knowing all of the entries, but I think I have a slight idea of who the top 3 may be. Okay. Right.
Which one are we talking about, male or female?
Female. We're talking
okay.
female. It's talking female. Because that's what we were talking about just now. So, I don't do my race prediction just on how I expect people to finish it. I want to visualize the race.
Right.
And we got, for me, it's Amaris, Jade, and Dan.
Right.
I don't know if you have anybody else in that.
I feel like if Rhonda wasn't so pig-headed, right?
Yeah.
And she had actually entered the event, is Rhonda Morris, for those of you who are listening, I felt like all we needed was a slip up from one of those and she could be on the podium. Right? I've seen like major improvements from people like Gina Lee Shepherd. I've seen major improvements from people like Leander and so on. And then we have people who are there in their first singles event who may not necessarily expect to be on the podium, but who are getting that first race under their belt. Yeah. So I don't want to feel like we're dissing them by saying that they ain't really have no chance. But I think they themselves know that maybe they just need to get this one race under their belt and then go back and say, okay, where do I need to improve to train for the singles next year? Now we're like Kim and Caroline and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah. Glad to have them doing the singles.
And
I was trying to tell them
really
since
good.
last year that they should do it. Yeah.
So I think that the three names you call are probably whom people would expect to be on the podium. Now, obviously we would think that Jade Searles is the best runner in the field. We know that. She's got a track and field background. She went away to university and so on and so forth. But I think maybe she's still a season away from beating Amaris. Right? I think the only one in the field who's got the best chance of beating Amaris, I think, is Dan, because we've seen the improvement she's made over the last year. And I think if she does, it's because she puts together the perfect race. Whereas I think Amaris is still just that little bit more mentally strong than the rest of the field. But Dan could beat her, Jade could beat her, but the way they have to do it by putting her under pressure from the start, from the very start of the race. If you it's a 3K race. I was just talking to Tom P in the car about this.
Sorry about that.
Because you don't have short conversations with Tom P. Like if you got the credit part, your phone don't talk to Tom P. Your phone can be wrecked by the end of the conversation. But like, if an athlete who is really obstacle proficient has an opportunity to get to the obstacle and wipe off their hand and take a breath and gather themselves, there's no way you're beating them.
Yeah.
You cannot beat them because they're not going to miss the obstacle. They would have to have a major lapse in concentration.
When you get to settle yourself.
Yeah, so you need to have it so that you're in their head, you're right on their shoulder, they're having to compete against you where you force them into a mistake, and then you can go by them. And I think Jade's running might be able to put that Amaris under that sort of pressure. Dan's obstacle proficiency might be able to put Amaris under that sort of pressure, but each of them would need to run. I think Jade is the only one who can probably do 2 sets of burpees and be there or thereabouts with her. Yeah. Because she's by far the best runner in the field. But she definitely needs to be put under pressure. And if they're not prepared to compete, like if they're like, see how you always let Darren go along? Yeah. Can't do that with Amaris. You have to pressure her from the start. And if they don't, and they let her get 50 meters on the field, the race is over.
I like how you said that we let Darren go along. We don't have much choice in mind. Believe you me, if people could have gone with him, we would have gone with him. Right. So that's how I see it going. And I think that Team Burr still might have to operate as a team today. And I say that because Amaris is such a strong runner already, right? We've already seen that they will be with Amaris closest to Amaris all the way to the A-frame before. And it's when once they get to the crawl, Amaris roll under that crawl and start. We got to talk about that crawl too. And then she starts to put the gap on them, then there's no coming back. Correct. Things that have changed this year also include the fact they have the sandbag carry early. Right. And you have the different tire wall for the women. Right. So normally once Amaris get over the tire wall,
the race is over. Because everybody's doing burpees.
Right, so she got like a minute on everybody by then. So what I see happening now is for Amaris to go, but Amaris is so competitive, and to have Jade on her shoulder, she's going to have to run to the sandbags faster than she might be comfortable running to the sandbags with before, because Amaris is a good distance athlete. I think a 5K race will more suit Amaris and the 3K will more suit Jade for how she runs. And when they pick up the sandbag, you must pick up Jade on this as well. Her carries have become exceptional. Sick. Because her cardio is so good that she is able to even push extra hard on the carries and recover on the run.
Yeah.
Right. So
and the truth is, all three of those women are very strong carriers. Amherst, Dan, and Jade. But if I had to pick out one, I might have to pick Jade. Because she has that super strong aerobic cardiovascular base and that kind of leg strength from all her track and field. She's very, very strong.
Swimming days, yeah. So I could tell you all the story. No, the last time we went through the forest as individuals, I hear somebody running behind me with a log, running. I thought it was Tommy at first, and it was Dan. So not Dan, it was Jade.
Right.
So the fact that she running through the forest with the log now,
and it's not even like level terrain; it's uphill.
It's baby head size rocks. She running with it, and that's got the log. So yeah. I think that what's going to have to happen is that they're going to have to, either Amherst is going to have to make a decision then if she's going to try to stay with Jade, or if she's going to let Jade go along and try to catch her, should Jade have to do burpees. And I expect a couple burpees from Jade on the day. That's the honest to God truth.
Yeah. But again, the same thing with her, right, is that if you give Jade 100 meters and she has a chance to get to the obstacles and settle herself, she can do them. It's not like there's any obstacle on the thing that she can't do.
Right.
Right? It's just like sometimes in a race situation, if she's pressured, she might miss it because she's trying to go fast.
Right.
But if she has enough distance on the field that she can settle down and put on her gloves and breathe, then she's going to take her time over them and she's going to get through them. There's nothing that she's going to miss for sure.
Right.
Right? So they definitely need to race her and make her.
That's the next thing
sure.
I think that Amherst may have on Dan and Jade, and I love your Amherst, but Amherst is tall, but she's son, right? But we don't know where he get it from.
Right.
But really and truly, it's because Amherst is not afraid
Right.
of obstacles. I just say Amherst going to get to the crawl and she's going to duck and she's going to roll.
Right.
She ain't coming in dainty. She ain't afraid to get scratched.
She doesn't wear gloves, so she ain't going to be messing around with her gloves. She does all the obstacles barehanded. So again, she's saving 10 and 15 seconds there.
Yeah.
So,
And she ain't afraid to get bumps and bruises. Correct. She ain't afraid to feel a little pain. So I think that is where she might have a little bit of an advantage. She's definitely not tentative when it comes to walls or anything like that. She even told me yesterday she don't know how to use the kicker.
I don't think either three of them need to use a kicker.
Right.
Yeah, all of them got the vertical to get over that 8-foot wall without a kicker.
Yeah, so that's then. So no, I just say no. It comes down to who's not as afraid of the obstacle, who got time to settle themselves to the obstacle, and who's going to get through the obstacles fastest. And I have been watching, and I've seen that in terms of the traverses, which are the ones that take the longest to me in terms of obstacles, the container and the low traverse, Amherst is probably the quickest of the three on those obstacles.
Right. Yeah. And by then, the race is close to over.
70%.
Yeah. It's just, if, again, I have to make a final decision as to whether we're going to put the carry right after that traverse or whether we're going to go down into the gully straight. But I'm leaning towards a carry just because that area is so spectator dense.
Yeah.
And the carry in that area is so visually impactful.
Yeah.
And because the original course that I wrote had the carry in it.
Right.
So I think from that perspective, I'm leaning towards a carry. The only carry that's really left is either the bucket or the log. and for dramatic effect, it would probably be the log.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, George.
I know, right?
Whoa, Nicole Brent from... Is Brent, that's the last name?
Nicole Brock, yeah.
Nicole Brock from Barcast in the Power. Thank you a lot. The problem with the logs is that's a long carry.
It is a long carry.
Late stage in the race.
Yeah.
As a real bust.
I haven't made a final decision on that yet. Right. So when it's going to be probably a game day decision. Yeah. We want it to be visually impactful, but the race is more about the athletes and the spectators, to be honest.
Yeah. But I think the spectators are going to have a great time this year with the way how the course has been designed with Wall Street, right there by the silos. I think that was a brilliant move on your part to say, you know what, people is be gathered here by these silos. So we know we can take, if Mohammed don't want to come to the mountain, we can move in the mountain to Mohammed. So you put the 10-foot walls right here for you to see. We playing you got the Atlas Stone. So a lot of things that people did not know that we had to do as a team before you're going to get to see in the and then a lot of the things that people cannot be bothered to go out and watch before they can actually come and see it being done. No. So final predictions for the ladies.
I'm gonna say 1-2, Amherst Dan, Jade third.
Okay.
I'm gonna and I think again that's gonna be mostly based on obstacle proficiency. But we'll see. It could be any. Honestly, it could be any three of them. It's that close, I think.
Actually, not to make it a boring prediction show, but that is where it was going as well. Not betting against Amaris, and I think that Jade is one season away from really troubling the podium. She's going to disturb it this year, but she's going to really dismantle it next year. Dan has a good chance of winning, but as you say, it was going to have to come down to Jade pressuring Amaris so much that she forces Amaris into a mistake, and Dan capitalizes. Yeah. So we got that there. Amaris 1, Dan 2, Jade 3 in the competitive ladies.
Right.
Any dark horses? I don't know anybody else in the competition, really. I know Leander is in there.
Leander, Gina. We haven't spoken about Carla.
Carla, late entry.
Yeah, Carla. No, she was preparing for a while. Carla Jackson is obviously a very Carla Nels. So I don't know who Carla Jackson is, but she is a seasoned CrossFit athlete. But I think she would probably say that she's not in her best shape of her life right now.
I always say so when I see she arms coming out the gully idea, boy.
Right, no, she's definitely strong. But if people who don't know who Carla is, Carla was on that original Island Fit team in the very first bar that came second to Obstacles. She was on that team. And I think it being the first bar, she and Tom P and the guy Angel, they were at the front the whole time. Obstacles was just watching them and seeing what they were doing and so on and so forth. I think if that race were to happen today, it might be closer. I don't know if it'd be a different result, but it might be closer. So Carla is definitely a seasoned competitor.
Right. And she has competitive genes.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So we just got to see how it works out on the day for her. She might be around.
How is her obstacle proficiency been?
Well, she's been working with Coach Monica for a few weeks.
I see.
So she's definitely got that. So I don't expect her to miss too many obstacles. She might miss one or two, but she should be good.
That horse for sure then. So I got between her and Gina Lee Shepherd for this. And for the opportunity to sneak in on the podium, should anybody have what would be a terrible race and a breakdown of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, wins and lessons, right?
I know. So then we go on to, so you're doing the women first this year, from what I understand.
Yeah, so we do the women first, and then we take off the kickers so the men can go after that. It's easier to do that than try to put on kickers during the course of the race. So it's probably going to be 2 o'clock wave, 2:45, 3:30, and then 4:15 for the open waivers.
Oh, okay. So 2 o'clock wave for the women, and then how are you doing the men's season? Are you doing it that the fastest men go first, or
that's the plan. And obviously in past years where we didn't know men as well, sometimes we had men in later waves that were actually pretty good. So I think we have a better sense this year of who's who. So we'll try and seed it so that previous winners are in the first wave, and then if you haven't won before,
there's only been one previous winner.
previous podiums. But again, it's a time trial. So if you're in a subsequent wave, it doesn't matter. You still have a chance to go out there and still push. But as far as competing against the podium, the guys who've been on the podium before, that first wave will probably have Jet, Darren, Raheem, Tom P, Adande, Fabian Norgrove is there as well. Raphael Greenidge, I want to say his name is. So we're gonna fill out that wave with the guys that will be,
so speedy though.
Correct. Yeah.
It sounds like what we call a top heavy race.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna get hurt. I don't mean like injured, but I mean, somebody's heart might explode.
Yeah, which is not as bad as getting injured, guys. Right?
The guy in the heart.
I was actually thinking just now, as you were mentioning, the thing that is seeding for you. I wondering how we can get these guys to come out and show what kind of form they are in before the race, because you said just now that this year seeding might be a little easier because the guys, but every year, the first year it would have been Jet, last year it would have been Fabian Norgrove, and you get these guys that jump into it, and we try to say, well, we don't know if these guys obstacle proficiency or whatever, but they turn out to be fairly good. But we don't ever see them again, not till the bar weekend. We don't get to see them at pop-ups. We don't get to see them at simulations. And I find it a little disheartening to try to rank men, right, if you don't know exactly where they are.
Yeah, and I think what will happen when we get really large fields, You just kind of have to pick the podium from the previous year, make them
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, and then do it randomly after that.
Yeah.
Can't really do anything more. Just do it randomly after that. The course is the same for everybody anyway.
Yeah.
So you just got to run and hope that you get in a draw with somebody who could pull you along.
Yeah, because I feel like the first year we had guys like Randy Licorice was in the race as well. He was a person that we had never seen really do it. And he come out, he surprised us. I think he came 5th or something like that year. So it's interesting. No, we call a lot of names there just now.
Right.
For the men's race. How you see the men's race going?
All right, so I think that if you guys are going to beat Darren's the previous champion. He's won
2 times.
twice out of each
He
time.
never lost anything individually that had the words bar on it. Even the 5K trail mixes,
He
just
did, correct. So I think if anybody's going to beat Darren, this is the best year to do it. Right? Because there's new obstacles on the course. Darren's kind of a last minute entry. He wasn't sure if he was even going to do it. Right. So this is the year where if Darren makes a mistake, you also try and capitalize on it. Because if Darren comes back next year and actually prepares specifically for bar again, there's no chance, right?
And if Darren get beat this year, there ain't no chance next year.
Exactly, because he ain't liable to beat him. So I made a mistake once of betting against Darren. He was away for a little while before the race. He came back in the same, and I said, well, he hasn't been practicing on the obstacles, so... But I ain't doing it again. I'm never going to do it again. I don't care if Darren turned up at that start line, 450 pounds, right? With one arm hanging off. I still choosing Darren afterwards, right?
You got to prove for me that he can do it.
Exactly. So, but I think the guys who actually have a chance of beating him this year might be guys who are newish to the bar family. Guys like, for example, like Raheem. We saw Raheem in the benchmark workouts.
Yeah.
We have guys like Raphael who are like 1, 2, 4 guys who are very fast, and actually the course favors those guys because there's no real extended running.
Right.
But who I think Raphael might.
So they can sprint between obstacles.
They can sprint between obstacles, and they still have the cardio to recover. But I think Raphael might be again another season away from the kind of obstacle proficiency that you need.
Yeah.
Jet is always very obstacle proficient, but I don't know if Jet can run with Raheem and Raphael.
That's the thing that I would love to be able to see these men to speak to the form,
And then Adande is obviously a silver medalist in the individual event. So I don't even really want, all I could predict, all I would be willing to predict right now, if I had to, I could pull out 3, but all I'd be willing to predict right now is that I got Darren to win. I got Darren to win. And if you put my head on the block, I can go with previous season form just because of experience. I would say Darren, I would say Adande, I would say Jet, if I had to. But I honestly don't feel like that's how it's going to be. I think somebody's going to pop up and show something that we don't expect. Somebody's going to show.
Any interesting entries? I feel like last year Keith Nolan was an interesting entry. An entry that you see and say, this man could get in trouble. Any of those people that you see sign up this year that you could tell yourself, if this man get...
I think Raphael is that guy.
Raphael is that guy.
Yeah, we know how good Raheem is. And truthfully... Last Christmas, when we did the bar pop-up workout.
26.
I think it was
you need to have one of them again this year. I don't know if
I got plans already for one of them, but I want to hold it back a little bit and make it a surprise.
Good.
We started with a 2K run. You do a little bit of cross-country, right? Yeah. We started with a 2K run. And when the man came back and I look at my phone, it was 8 minutes, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right? Exactly. And like the workout was now starting, man had gapped everybody by like 90 seconds. But his issue at the time was that he was very new to it. He didn't have the skills.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happened. But he's worked on the skills. He has been working on them. So again, if he can get enough distance on the field that he can take his time and prepare for the obstacle and settle his breathing and so on and so forth. But I don't know if he's quite at that point yet. Because this race is going to be a pressure race. Nobody ain't got no time to do that.
To whip off the hands on that. If you're party gloves before the race, you could just left them at the start. Right. Okay, so Darren Adande Jet. Yeah, that is a very solid
yeah, but I honestly don't even believe that prediction. I just had to call 3 names, but I don't think that's how it's going to end up. I honestly don't think it's how it's going to end up. I think previously Jet was always one of the better runners in the field as well. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you that I think he can run Raheem. I don't feel he can run Raphael.
I don't know where his running is at.
I don't even feel so. I mean, I ain't saying this to you just because you're here, but I don't feel you can run you running this year neither. I saw you improve so much over the last year as a bar athlete and you're running, I don't feel Jack feel Jack could beat you. If you let Jack beat you this year, you can cuff you. You feel so I honestly feel that you are capable of beating Jack. Right? And it really is. I think part of the issue with the race previously is that Darren has blown up the race from the beginning.
So he's had the time, as you said, to sell that obstacle.
Darren's done burpees before and still beat winner.
That's true.
I can't see that happening this year.
Yes.
But I think that this is probably the most competitive male field we've seen.
I think so as well.
Logically, sometimes we had men who were fast before, but they didn't have any time with the obstacles. Like last year was the first time Raheem did this race. Right?
And the first time Fabian
Norgrove. I mean, we even talk about Fabian.
Yeah, exactly.
Fabian came third last year, and Fabian Norgrove from UE. Yeah. Fabian came third last year, right? And Fabian do so much nonsense on obstacles. We got pictures of Fabian that we just laugh at for entertainment. Right? So now I think about Fabian, I got to refresh my prediction because if a man came third last year with no
first time
proficiency, don't know how to carry an Atlas Stone.
I'm sure they mentioned to you as well that he was not in the fastest wave.
And he was not in the fastest
wave. So he had the boy to pull it long, he had the boy to guide it or anything. So he was out front in his own wave, walking with the Atlas Stone down below.
So Fabian, I apologize because this is why I don't even really want to predict it, man. But
you need to predict it to make it hype.
The only prediction I want to make right now is that I got Darren first.
Right.
And I think I might need to revise that third place. I'd say I think you gotta put Fabian in there. For sure.
Yeah, he's a previous podium.
Absolutely. And I can't see Jet getting on this podium this year. Sorry, Jet, but I can't see you getting on this podium this year. You got kind of proper gym and train first. Right? I can't see Jet on this podium, honestly.
Because as you said, because of the fact in previous years we would have seen Jet at the pop-ups.
Right. So
we would have known what it is. We would have seen a down there at the pop-up. We wouldn't have seen a down there once this year at a sim. He just came out to try the Traverse bar because he hadn't done it before. So it's going to be super. It's going to be super fast. I'm going to have the best seat in the house. At least for the first 300 meters. But it's going to be very fast. The rest.
I mean, we have to say best runner in the field is probably Darren over that distance. Mm-hmm. Best obstacle proficiency is probably Jet.
Between Jet and
I mean, and then
because he works in the obstacle course gym,
and he's just super agile. And I would best carrier, I might say Raheem.
Raheem has been carrying well.
You remember from the
benchmarks?
From the benchmarks, he was like he didn't even know how to carry this stuff.
Yeah,
but he was still running with these things, holding them awkwardly, and still there. When people say put it here, then he might really start to move. So he's been working on them.
He's got a lot of cardio in him. He's got massive engines.
So a question. You've been saying people don't know how to hold things and they don't know much about the course. That means that there are a lot of newcomers recently?
Well, this was last year. So last year, Fabian would have done it for the first time.
Okay.
And so he just, he'd never seen the other guys carrying these implements. He'd never he just jumped in because he was fast. So, but now having a year of experience behind him, more proficient.
You've seen an Atlas Stones in your?
No, I have not.
It's a big round concrete ball, basically.
Okay, which makes sense.
25 pounds, right? So the majority of guys, when they get accustomed to it, they would carry it on the shoulder.
Okay.
But it was his first time, and he was so far out front. I don't think he would have watched the previous wave. Right. So he just see this ball. I got carried out there and bring it back down and pick it up. I walk with it, but had he been able to put it on his shoulder from the beginning, I probably even walk.
Yeah, because he put it down several times because it was awkward to carry. When you hold it like that, it's very hard on your back and your grip. So you balance it on your shoulder, and then your legs do the work.
So you could imagine what sort of pace he was running at all along to be able to do that. Did he fail an obstacle last year?
Yeah, he did burpees on the Traverse.
On the Traverse, right. To fail an obstacle, to do burpees, and still come third. That's how fast this guy was running.
Pretty intense.
It's super, super, super intense. So that's the individuals. My predictions, a lot like yours. It's just so frustrating having not seen the guys run to be able to put an accurate thing. But I definitely have Darren up there. For me, Adanda is always, as long as Adanda is on the line, I know Adanda is ready. Right. Adanda is not going to come out unless he has prepared and he feels as though he definitely has a shot to win. And Adanda's mental game, to me, is superior. I think the only other person in the competition, to be honest with you, that has a mental game like Adande would be Darren, because, and I always remember the story you tell about Darren in the 5K trail mix. You could tell that this man was blowing up, but he said he sniffed the idea that he could win this race, and that's that little slither of hope. Pull every stop, man. And then the first bar singles event, afterwards the man vomit for like 3 minutes straight. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't vomit on the course. He
was polite enough to wait till it was finished.
So we go with Darren and the Dan there out front, and the way I see it going is that from the time the gun goes, Raheem, Raphael, Darren, and Fabian out front, flying.
Right.
Understand? Adande behind them, and Adande and Jet behind them, and if Tompy's in the first wave as well, Tompy trying to hold on to them men for as long as possible, because that's how Tompy runs his races. What will happen from there to me is that one by one, you're going to see who gets through the obstacles and how fast they get through the obstacles. You got to remember, maybe this podcast might come out early enough that they might get tips, and I'll be vexed about that. But you got to remember what are the failable obstacles coming up. So men might be blazing, men can blaze over the A-frame, men can blaze through the crawl. I think the race for me really begins at the tire. No, actually, the Atlas Stone is before the tire wall, right?
Correct, yes.
Then we see how good men get through with that carry, that first carry, because the men can be running together all through the A-frame. Right. I feel even through the first standby carry, because of the strength of Raphael and Raheem, Darren and Adande. I feel even with that first standby carry, them men can be pretty much together. Them men getting over the A-frame 10 seconds apart at the most. Them men getting over the 8-foot wall probably 10 seconds apart at the most. But when they get to the Atlas Stone, which is like a 100-meter carry, that is where I could see distance being created one way or the other. And then the failable obstacles is where you could definitely see men getting dropped from the pack, because with the 3K race, as fast as this, burpees taking you off the podium.
Yep, for sure. Nobody on that podium this year with burpees.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. Not we don't mention 5 or 6 people that are going to be in contention for the first half of the race. So
the only thing I would say as an asterisk is because there's a couple new obstacles that some of these guys haven't had a chance to touch.
Yeah.
That might be the difference. So if, for example, if all them men together and, heaven forbid, Darren slip off the anchors and flats, or any of them men slip off at that point in time, it is so far into the race, I don't think there's any recovery.
Any recovery.
You might as well just walk off the course. You might just walk off the course and go home.
Yeah, and the thing is that's where the spectators are going to be really a part of it. That's when you got people telling you what to do. People that never see a launch of hers. Man, that's boy your foot. Right. You get so many voices shouting at you then that you could indeed have a lapse in concentration and create an opportunity for somebody that you don't want to create at that stage. But so that's an asterisk. The next thing, because I tell you, we just mentioned like 4 or 5 different people. When you come off the Atlas Stone, the tire wall is a narrow one. So you're going to watch them for bottlenecks. Right. You're going to watch them, man, they only got like 3 lanes of the grips. Right. So that's when tactics can come out. You can go realize to yourself, when they get these grips can probably be, first of all, probably muddy. They got men on these grips. You got to look and see which lane you're going to pick and who can get off these grips. Because that's where the passing opportunities are going to come in. Right. You got 5 men running to an obstacle, and that, again, you got to make up in your mind if you can sprint to this obstacle and reach this obstacle gassed and potentially have to do burpees, or if you're going to lag behind and lose the time because of my man and fly through the obstacle, get off your obstacle, and you know starting. Right. So there's a lot of little caveats there that I think
that's what makes sports so interesting.
Yeah.
Like if we got to go out there and run a 3K, I could pick the top 3 for you and like bet my house on it and go.
Anything can happen. It will see.
I wouldn't advise that. But obviously, course racing, everything is very unpredictable.
Anything can happen in OCR.
That's what seems really exciting. This entire thing, like with basketball, with any other sport, you know what you're in for.
Yes.
It's just a team versus a team or individuals in it. But with this obstacle course, everything seems so extra, so new. Right. There's so many extra stuff that you could bring into it and they not even know.
Imagine if basketball was like Space Jam. Now you make it score 60 pointers. Now all of a sudden the ball has become real heavy.
Right.
That's exactly it.
I gotta tell you, I can confess that I've never seen Space Jam. Neither of them.
No, you're really definitely not missing much with the second.
Right.
All right, so I think that we're pretty much wrapping up what Saturday is going to be like. Praise giving is the same evening, not for the open wave. No praises for the open wave. And then because of the COVID protocols, they're doing everything immediately after we return.
But not only that, I think because we were trying to gear the event as a sports tourism event, you know, you might have a situation where somebody came to Barbados and we're going to do the race on a Saturday and leave on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know, go hang around for my medal or my check or whatever. You wrap up, I get my medal and so on, and I on the plane the next day and I could go.
Yeah.
So it ties a bow on each event as you finish and you move.
Yeah. If the Olympics could do it, Bar could do it.
Right.
Maybe on our level. You got people like Damian. Darion. You got people like Darion here. Thing is that
he was so tired about this weekend.
You're getting all your hours this weekend. So the next day we come back to Peg. I remember saying we meet you as well, Darion, because you probably sleeping at Peg.
Right.
Saturday night.
What's going on?
I feel like George is always be threatening to sleep on the campsite and be and come out in the morning. You never know, that might happen to you this year. We come back for the fastest growing event in Bar, corporate, which is also bringing more spectators to Bar.
Correct, because all the companies bring out all their supporters for their staff and their team members. And we actually have a super competitive corporate event this year. So at least 4 or 5 companies have been training consistently for at least 3 months for this event. So companies are taking this event seriously. We have companies like Chancery Chambers, we have PwC, we have ICBL, we have Republic Bank, and the returning champions is First Caribbean, right? So teams have been out there like just putting in the hours, man. And
how many corporate teams are there this year?
We have 18 corporate teams.
18 corporate teams.
So 3 waves of 6, and we'll run them at 10, 11, 12.
I've seen a change this year in the level of application from the corporate people this year. Have you seen that as well?
Absolutely. Most of the time they just turn up on a day.
Yeah.
Most of the time they just turn up on a day and they go out there as a team building, morale building thing, and they have some fun.
Yeah.
But companies want to be known as the fittest company in Barbados.
Yeah.
And like
this year has been different.
Very, very different. People have been training 2-3 times a week. They go around and they pick out fittest people on staff and they bring them together, and it's going to be super competitive.
That's pretty interesting, actually. I didn't think that the corporate aspect would have actually tuned into the fitness aspect, because there are a lot of businesses out there that want to have particular athletes at their businesses, so that they have it's booming for them. Which effect decided they're gonna have these people as ambassadors. Exactly.
Right.
So to have people from the actual corporate business of itself to come and participate, I think it's pretty interesting.
We got a lot of people too, because we know how Barbados is, that would have been competitors at inter-school sports. Some have even gone and done a collegiate team. Many may play football on a Saturday and thing. But they never really get, even though they're talking in the office or talking in like, man, they used to do this and they used to do that. Whatever, man. If you're so good, come and do bar. Correct. Show me that. Show me how good you used to be, right? And that's why I can call out automotive art one time right now again. Because I feel like them, as we neighbors at Surfside, them men should be sending teams 2 and 3 teams and not just giving tires.
That's for sure. Big shout out to Andre for the tires. But they got enough staff for sure that they should definitely be in every corporate event going forward.
Yeah. So, but with the I've seen a level of dedication and application from the corporate people this year that I did not see before, and I really love it. Like even up to yesterday, the amount of people that were up there getting in there last minute training. I see corporate teams, Chancery Chambers, training on the 10-foot wall. That unheard of, George. Them people is normally come to the 10-foot wall and be like, how we get here now?
They got their own strategy and everything.
The people done making up the strategy. Not only what I admired about Chancery yesterday is that they were taking, and it was myself, Dan, and Aranda on walking the course. And I said, well, there's a corporate team. We tried to get them some pointers and tell them how I would approach it, because I saw them there. And not that they was doing foolishness on them, but I thought that I saw a better way for them to get it. And they were like, oh, well, we went over already. We're just looking for alternative ways now. So, that they come with the A, B, and C strategy for...
But you expect that from lawyers, right?
Yeah.
In case they come with this defense, we have this.
Exactly, shout out to the Ahmad Arbery case. Then lawyers do well. I can't make a prediction necessarily for the corporate. Can you?
I think that
corporate is 2 male, 2 female as well.
Correct.
Right?
So those are the ones who can get the prizes. I think I'm going to pick Chancery. I think Heather's obstacle proficiency, the fact that Ruth is good at running, they've been training for a long time, and Lewis is just a sick head, right? So
right.
The guy on their team called Lewis, who is very, very fast. I think that I'm going to pick them. I think the next team is going to come from PwC, even though I don't think PwC is feeling their strongest possible team. Right. Michael should have been on that team. I can say that forever.
Yeah, you might be saying that. One thing we mad, but you don't worry about saying my George tell me this, and I ain't going to repeat it. George tell you, George will probably tell you, boy, it's in his face.
Correct. So I think PwC is going to be next or so around there. And I think, one of the teams from Republic will be third. Don has been working with them for a while. Right. So I think those will be 3 teams I have on the podium.
The level of dedication also was the fact that down there training these on Saturday mornings, and then there was another class on Friday evenings.
So the team
for corporate people to come up on a Friday evening,
and then 5:30 on a Saturday morning to do a running club.
God, to be serious.
So we're looking at Chancery. I know I could speak to Lewis, Craig, Heather, and Will for sure. They've definitely been putting in the work. The only issue that they would have had is the fact that, that being lawyers and being corporate people, they had little breaks from people traveling, etc. But I think that if they are fit and ready to go, I saw them yesterday, I think that they stand a very good chance of things. I don't want to make the podcast boring, so I've only seen PwC in passing. I've seen Republic in passing. Hopefully, all the best to the corporate guys, because really truly it is the fastest growing part of bar.
Correct.
It is expanding every year, and what we want to see from them and from the open wave is people graduating from those categories and stepping into the competitive, whether it be singles or team, because there are a few people, Micah himself included, and Lewis,
that should be doing singles.
That should be doing singles.
Yeah, for sure.
That should be doing singles. It's on the day before, and I tell people, I even had this discussion with Ronda. The way we've been training, like a lot of people be afraid that if I do Saturday, I can't recover for Sunday. You put yourself and your body through more hell than you've prepared your body.
The training is harder than the race.
You've prepared your body that if you can't do a 3K obstacle course race and come back and do team the next day, George and do his job.
Correct.
You understand? That is part of the course. We talked about it yesterday too. Dan was there. And Amherst have told me that for the individuals, them is no them could get through. Them is no they could get through the team, I expect. Because the team is also a bit grindier. It's a longer event.
It's not as fast, so you have more time to go at a steady pace, etc. And some of the obstacles you have to take time over. Like the free throws, for example.
You get to recover. So, open wave and competitive, they're on the same course?
And corporate, you mean?
Open and corporate,
Open and corporate, exactly the same course, exactly the same criteria. Any 2 per obstacle, exactly the same length. So, So, the only difference is that you're competing for your company or you're competing for your friends and family, basically.
Right. Okay, so, and they go off a peg, they go down Carlton Tower and come up as well. It's a 6K course?
It's about a 6K course,
All right. And then we get to the big daddy, the
Correct.
granddaddy, the big fella boy. We had the briefing last night. Everybody was like, oh, shit, it's real. It's upon us. And that's the competitive teams. Before the original days of bar, before we had all of these different categories, it used to be a day one. You have all these teams, and then you will whittle them down to 20 teams.
20 teams,
for day 2, which would be that event used to be spread over 2 days. Okay. Day 1 would be a shorter course, probably similar to what Open Wave and corporate do now. And then day 2, but it was a major thing to
make day 2,
to make it to day 2. Because that's when they get the rash guards. You got some brand new rash guards this year,
George? We do have some brand new rash guards. And everybody who does the competitive wave gets a rash guard. We limit the numbers of the entries so we can manage it a little better. So we have 18 teams, 3 waves of 6, and their course is closer to 11.5K than the open wave and the corporate wave, which is about 5.5. So we expect, I think for me, this is probably the easiest race to predict.
Right. You know, really? Let me get my phone. Because you were going through the teams last night in the briefing, and to be honest with you, a lot of the teams, I don't know how the teams are comprised.
Yeah, somebody was asking me that today, if there's any way to see who's on which team, so they know that they're not just rooting for a team name, but they're rooting for individuals.
Right.
So I might try and put up that information over the next couple of days as well. But for me, I think that missing Stuart Maloney, right, is going to be the factor this year for Obstacles. I call it Obstacles 3 now.
Yeah,
because it's
only one original member of Obstacles.
Yeah, and that's Mark Jordan. I think that if everybody's healthy, the team BioSteel with Tom P, Adonde, Dan, and Jade, I think that team is super hard to beat. Right? Everybody's obstacle proficient. The running is crazy. I mean, Tom P is the weakest link on that team.
In terms of running.
Yeah. You know?
And he's a good runner.
Yeah. So I think for me, they're first. The unknown for me is the new member on Obstacles.
Who is that?
This guy called Simon.
Simon Porker?
No, he's not Porker. he actually teaches at the school at PEG, the Beyond the Box school. So he's on PEG a lot, so he's probably had a little time to practice something. But I think that, you know, his experience, or his lack of experience, I should say, might be the thing that caused them to go down to maybe second or third place. I think a team that nobody's really looking at and talking about is the what is it? What are they called?
Bad
Mother Buckers, yeah.
Bad Mother Buckers.
So you have 4 seasoned bar athletes. They were bronze medalists last year. That's Damian, Jamal Griffith, Joycelyn Allen, and Michelle Dowell. And I think that as a team, they know each other and they work so well together. They're very cohesive. Yeah. I think that they could come and bother the podium a little bit. Now, Team Run is a team that is very strong on paper. Right?
This is a team
with Carly Pipe, Jen, Guy Pollington, and Alex Cole. And they are as a team, they're probably the best running team. Yeah, at least one of. It's just to see how the ladies handle the carries and how they handle the skills. But if everything works well for them, they could be around there as well. But I think, Simon is a factor that I don't know about. But I think he's, because of that.
My thing is that I don't know much about Mark's personality on a whole. But it felt all along like Stuart was the leader of the team. I think leadership is very important. Like, who is going to be the person to
That's going to be Amherst, though.
I was actually going to say I feel Amherst is going to have
Even when Stuart was there, Amherst was still taking charge at certain points and leading the team. Yeah, for sure. But I think, like, again...
Bossy Amherst.
Yeah. I'm not trying to this time. I just don't know him. So it's one of those things where if you don't know a course, you haven't done it before, I can't bet on you. I will always bet on the veteran over the rookie, talented rookie, every single day. Yeah. So in that case, I go in with the seasoned bar athletes. Maybe they surprise me.
I like Team BioSteel as well because that's Adande's approach to things. As I said earlier in the podcast, super mentally strong, but he locks in. Yeah. And he also is not a shouter. He's not. He
don't talk in course.
Yeah, but he gonna tell you, don't worry, we got this. And he tell you we got this. You're gonna believe. Oh yeah, we got this. Right?
That calm energy is what you need.
You need that.
A lot of people are gonna be frantic and frenzied and start to panic and stuff. And he's gonna be the calming voice in our team all the way.
With the muckers,
mothers. Bad mother. Muckers. I don't know what the name is. It's not foolish name. Next time when I choose a bad name.
They are definitely going to be efficient.
Clean through the obstacles.
They're going to be clean. I remember last year when they came back onto PEG, everybody limping, but everybody, they had the strategy. I'm not going to give it away, Jamal and Damian, but they are the only people that do the partner carry differently to what everybody would traditionally do the partner carry as, right? If George or somebody there to get the footage of it this year, they can do it, but they don't just do piggyback race, right? They have the ability to really look at because
they're sticking up on any obstacle.
Yeah, I peep at their strategy already for the slit wall. I happened to be there when they were practicing, and it's teamwork. It's a well-oiled machine. And so, yeah, I think the only thing is that obviously we know Damian has had a little bit of an issue. But the good thing about day 2 is that it ain't about who fastest.
Yeah.
It ain't about who fastest, because you could get back up and peg as fast as possible.
Right.
But it's when you get to the obstacles, know how you're going to get through. And I think that's where they definitely have an advantage. So we got obstaclers, BioSteel, Run. Who are Connect 4?
Connect 4 is the silver medalist from last year.
It's Gina Lee's team?
Gina Lee. Its team's a little different this year. Gina. Who's the woman on that team now? Oh, Rianne Gibson,
yeah.
Ramel, and Ron. And Ron is a beast.
Yeah, Ron being beasting this season as well.
I think Gilly, who was on the team last year, Gilly was a major asset to that team.
Yeah. And not only in terms of his ability as a professional.
Leadership.
Vocal. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Whereas Ramel is kind of quiet, and I think, again, maybe not quite there as far as the obstacles, but whereas like Gilly, you would have to rip off Gilly hand on one of them things before he stopped. If he was on the ring swinging for 5 minutes, he would swing there till he gets to the next one. That's the kind of mentality he has, right?
Yeah.
So I think, again, coming from a competitive background, he free dives for a living, not free dives, but he's a diver for a living. So you're in challenging situations all the time. You have to stay calm. You have to stay focused. So I think that is the only missing element. But I think that, that might be the thing that takes them off the podium this year, missing Gilly, I think.
Yeah.
And in shape Gilly, I should say.
Last year, what happened is the two teams that were in front of them, they came second, and then the eventual winners, which was outdoor fitness last year. The obstaclers and the team that had on Dan and Rihanna and them last year, they were so far ahead. Them men was on Cotton Tower going up.
Right.
When
the third wave.
When the Connect 4 hadn't even done their free throws yet.
Right.
You understand? And they still, because of their obstacle proficiency, as you say, and there's a cam head or whatever, and everything that transferred on peg lane, were able to secure a podium spot. So it can't cut them out. And who are Ultra Grind?
Ultra Grind is Raheem and his team.
Raheem has a team.
Yeah, Raheem, Shervid. And I'm not familiar with the females on that team. And because of that, I can't really put them on the podium.
Right.
No matter how good Raheem and Shervid are, because again, it's familiarity.
You have any insight that they're former athletes? Cause I
don't know nothing about them, neither at all.
And they haven't come and done any.
I don't know nothing. I don't even know if they come already, because I don't know. I don't recognize them.
Right. So, for all we know, they could have been working on these skills, I think. But if they have not been working on these skills, we'll see you all on Cotton Tower.
We will see you all sitting in front of an obstacle with your face low.
All right, we have two now. We got Jet's team. That's Jet and Kenny. Kenny's another little beast.
Kenny's a beast for sure.
Super obstacle. That's an obstacle proficient team.
The Jerry and Leander. I think Leander was on the all-female open wave team last year.
As Locks.
Yes.
It's good. It's good.
I don't know where the Jerry is with her running this year.
Right.
Honestly, and I don't know. Again, not having done pop-ups and not having felt some of those obstacles, I don't know where they are. So for me, I can't put them on the podium. Neither that unknown. I can't really put them.
Too many unknowns. The thing about Jet's team, we can get her this next too, is that as good as Jet, Kenny, whoever team with teams, is that you are only as fast as the person, as the slowest person. Team bucket up, right? So that is myself, Aronda, Amanda, and Nick. And we know where our strengths are. We know where our weaknesses lie. But what we want to do is convert the weaknesses into things. We know that what Amanda is going to do is not being a super runner.
Right.
Is she going to keep us honest and keep us fresh for the peg?
Right. Well, that's the good thing about it. But the other thing is that you guys don't push her so hard.
Yeah.
That on the compulsory skills, she starts failing skills that she normally gets because she's too fatigued. And we've seen like really good athletes who are super strong struggle on carries because they just had to push too hard on their run.
Right,
So
yeah.
as long as she gets the peg fresh, I think you guys are pretty much clean through all the obstacles. It's just if she has to work too hard off peg, that
coming
is
up
the
the
problem.
horse and everything. Caroline's team, this is
They're actually called Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter.
Yeah, so that's Caroline, that's Ali Allen,
Ali's a good runner, right? Yeah.
Lindell, and Julian. And in the workouts, those two guys are always at the front.
Yeah.
You know who Ali is? Ali is a beast when it comes to running. She's an ultra endurance athlete.
She doesn't stop running.
So Caroline will probably be the slowest on that team, but she's also very, very slick on the obstacles.
Yeah.
So this is a team that if they get back to peg,
I think she might be a piece of marine biologist doing it.
yeah, she's a Marine, so she and Julian work together.
Yeah.
So if they get back to peg in good stead. Last year, the reason they didn't finish was because Ali failed on the rings.
Right.
And she was actually getting to the last ring, but just could not hit the bell. Right. She's had more time this year, so I don't think she's going to fail on those compulsory skills. So as long as they get back to peg, like with Caroline relatively fresh, you never know. It could happen.
Yeah. Limb by limb.
Limb by limb is Phil Seven, Chadwick, Joanne Poehler, I want to say. And I unfortunately don't know the name offhand of the fourth one.
Okay.
Obviously, Chadwick and Philip are seasoned bar athletes, but again, two new women. Things changed for them, obviously, with Laura Fishman going down,
Right.
ill and so on. So again, I can't really put them on the podium.
If they were limb by limb, I almost like I love Chadwick and Phil Seven for keep coming back. They did the team like last year. They for bar is 4 people, 2 women, 2 men, and most of the obstacles they can take the 4 people to get through. And they lost a competitor. She can finish the race last year, so they finished with 3. It was Chadwick, Phil, and Jade.
Yeah,
They had introduced Jade to the sport last year as well. I see them do some impressive things with just 3 people last year, including the 10-foot wall and the slit wall. So good luck to them, man. And good luck to them, man. Good luck to the new ladies that they're bringing in. Who's on Dan Hewitt's team?
So they're called Goats Gone Wild.
Mountain Goats Gone Wild.
Goats Gone Wild. So that's Priscilla, that's Emma Armstrong.
She's good too.
Yeah, and Stuart Gill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think again the only little asterisk might be how well Priscilla does on the skills. I think she's got the compulsory ones.
Okay.
So it's just who are they gonna designate for the like male female obstacles.
Right. 2 guys, 2 girls.
2 guys, 2 girls, and I think it's gonna Dream. I can't remember the name. It's too long anyhow.
Oh, right.
But that's the team mainly from Bassa Bassa. That's Ryan. That's Catherine Wilkie.
Cat, yeah. Danielle.
Danielle and
his name begins with A. Arthur. Is it Arthur?
Arthur, correct. Yeah, I think that the running might be the thing that holds them back a little bit.
Right.
Right. But they, so I don't really see them actually getting on the podium because they're not strong enough runners.
What I like about that team, though, I guess it's because they're all coming out to the Bassa Bassa gym, is that they have been working together. They have been coming up peg as well.
Yeah, and Catherine and Ryan have been doing the training with us as well. So I've seen them improve over the time. Mainly Catherine's running is like exponentially better than it was last season. So Ryan, over 3 or 4 months, his running has improved a lot as well.
Yeah, stick to the program.
Yeah. But overall, as a team, they're not good enough runners to win this.
Right.
Even if teams stick up, I think that there's other teams that will come in before them.
Right,
So
but I think that they will definitely give a good account of themselves, though,
Yeah.
just because of the amount of work
that they've put in.
that they've put in. I feel like Kat ran the 5K trail mix as well.
She did, yeah. I think Ryan ran it as well, too.
Yeah.
And since September to now, Ryan's a completely different athlete.
He's got that mentality as well.
Yeah,
That if he,
yeah, correct.
We know him from school, so like cadets and thing, right? So you know that man when them in cadets and thing,
Yeah.
and then put their heads aside, they're doing it.
Correct.
You can't stop them from doing it. And then we're going over to wave 3, and that is safe word is kumquat. I feel like we know them from last year.
Yeah, last year, like that's the team that I ran 3 gully with my phone light.
Yeah.
Because they were the last wave, right? Okay. And after it gets too dark, we start to pull teams off the course just for safety. Yeah. But they had done everything, and I just wanted to make sure that they finished, so I guided them through the last part. They always come and support bar, and maybe they're obstacle proficient and they're fit, so they might be a dark horse to get.
Who's on that team?
Top 5. Danny Fenty is the only name I know.
Okay. That's so much confidence. You're going to start with Darren Fenty?
Yeah, Danny Fenty, and she's the only one actually. I mean, if I had to look at the things, I might recognize them, but them is the only people I know.
Okay. Outdoor fitness tour.
Let me leave that for you. Let me leave it for you last.
Okay. Outcast.
Outcast. Who's Outcast? No.
It might OUAT.
Oh, that's the team with Arlene and Sanjeev and
Dana.
Yeah, Dana. Yeah. So I think this is Dana's first bar. So I think for them it's an experiential thing. They just want to go out there and have fun.
Good,
They're not really trying to win. They just want to finish.
And I think that's the same thing for the Bassa team as well. They're probably a year or two away from really like, troubling the podium. Today, not day two no more.
No, they're not day two anymore. This is Janelle Clark. This is Jamie. This is Kamal. And they've added Heather. We didn't talk about Heather in the individual because Heather's somebody who I felt should be doing the individual. I want to say that I advise them strongly against this.
Right.
I feel
like Heather's chance with Chambers.
Heather's chance with Chambers. She's doing the corporate in the morning, having an hour and a half lunch break, and coming back to do the competitive in the afternoon. Right? Now,
luckily for them, they're in the third wave.
Yeah, in her first bar, which I think is bananas. I honestly think that Heather is one of those people she's very good on the obstacles. My advice to her was do the singles on the Saturday, come back and do the corporate on the Sunday, go and have a drink, enjoy your experience. Boom. Next year, think about improving. But she works with some of the people on the team, and they've pressured her. I'm saying this to the camera. They pressured her into doing these two events back to back.
He get sued for defamation. Because this is lawyers we talking about.
They're going to come for me. I got nothing in the camera. Sue me for what? My phone? Right. So I actually advise strongly against it. But having said that, I think that I would love to see them do well. I would love to see Heather have a really good first bar experience. And this is a team that has supported bar from the start. So I would love to see them do well. I just feel like
it did well last year.
I just feel it's a lot of work for her on her first bar.
Yeah.
You know, and I would hate that anything colors that experience for her.
Right.
So that's that.
I think that's a team that I love as well because they're tenaciousness. They're grinders,
Correct.
Absolute grinders on the course. So they should have a good one. And
so just MacGyvers and
MacGyvers.
Yeah, MacGyvers we know as Kim
Carroll,
who are doing the singles this year. Maurice, who's also doing the singles.
They get yourself, Maurice. Glad to hear that, man.
And
coming on very
and
well.
Anderson. And I think that, again, I don't see them on the podium.
Yeah, everybody can't be playing podium. There's 18 teams you're looking at.
Correct.
Right?
I think their goal is top 10 this year.
Good.
Yeah. So
it's
I think
a solid goal.
And I think that they could be there for sure.
I think what I like, you might realize this, Darion, is that I like teams that stick together. That I can see that it's almost like a familial bond. I think that outside of bar, outside of the podium and everything, the friendships made, the connections made, the whole teams come together, even for the corporate, the fact that you got to go through this together, it only makes you stronger, it makes the bonds tighter in most cases. Unless you get cussed. Freak down doing that again. But yeah, and I think that's the advantage that teams like today and MacGyver that they have because they work together so well. And that's the same thing we were talking about with the mother muckers.
Bad mother muckers.
Yeah, right. So that's going to be good. And I think BioSteel is really smart money is that this year.
I just want to mention Outdoor Fitness too.
Outdoor Fitness, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. So unfortunately, one of their team members who was a medical professional had to withdraw because of illness.
Yeah.
And these times we kind of know what that illness is. But outside of that, they were right there top 5, I think.
Yeah.
That's Basil, that's Blair, and that's Jason Green, who like, and Blondell was the last person on that team. So at the time of recording, they're still out there like basically trying to find that fourth person. Right?
But whatever happens,
if they find the right one, they could be top 10 for sure. But they're out there and they're going to be on the course and they're going to enjoy the experience for sure.
So let me say now, for instance, that if we just put it out there, right? It's a podcast and then this ain't real. This ain't. They said that they was able to draft in a Carolyn Nils.
Right. They tried that, so that ain't happening.
No, that ain't happening. Right.
You see Basil talking to Carla on Tuesday, right? It looked like the man was reasoning, like, yeah, blood, we could do. I was trying to court her, right? And she was like, nope, singles. That's all I'm doing this year.
Right.
But if Carla was on that team, I would put them top 10 for sure.
Top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely BioSteel, a.k.a. Outdoor Fitness One.
Nah, we ain't doing that. Not with two Surfside people in that team. Not with two Surfside people in that team. We call it Team BioSteel.
Yeah, for sure. Can't be outdoor fitness. Fire for that. But yeah, definitely them. And then it gets really interesting.
Yeah. I think the guy Simon, I don't know much about him, but the other three are obviously, they've all been on the podium before. They're all seasoned, so maybe they bring him along. If his running is good enough.
Well, because Saba would have
Sabrina
come
was
second
silver
last
medalist
year.
before, yeah. It's the same shame she's not competing in the singles this year, but obviously
She gives you a legitimate reason for that?
No, I just think she doesn't feel like she's spent enough time training this year, but I don't know. You kind of have to accept people's reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
especially
that's
at this time when registration closed.
Right,
we don't accept reasons before registration closed.
we buy your door, man. You said that. Yeah.
Right, so yeah, my podium for the thing is, sorry to say that they're all coming out of wave 1 as well. But you're still Obstacle Killers 3, and actually, no, I don't think that they're all coming out of wave 1. But it's still Obstacle Killers 3, and yeah, it can gotta be the same bad motherfuckers. Yeah, if anything, but F. Carly and thing, pick up that Atlas Stone and thing, and get over those walls without too much problem there. It's going to be very tight for third place.
It's going to be very
Top
tight.
two going to be tight in terms of
who's first and
who's second. But
then there's probably a little
definitely
gap to
got
them,
the smart
third
money
and
on. But anything can play from there. Anybody watching this right now, if you have a team in there, you will have a chance. Once it gets down from 3rd to 7th or so, it's going to be
And
extremely
there's prizes
tight.
and medals for the top 10 teams, so by all means, don't say, well, I off the podium and stop. Keep working to be in our top 10.
I mean, if you're off your podium and you're not in your team bucket, you can afford to stop. Like, that's take pictures, man. Stop out there, so shoot as many free throws as you like.
Right.
Anything that you're really interested in for this year in terms of wrinkles that have been put in?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it because the basketball court could be a big. We saw that in training. We saw that teams came to the basketball court, and this will be interesting for you because the basketball court on Horse Hill is one of the obstacles. Okay. So when they come back up from the forest, you have to come there. 2 designated shooters each have to hit a free throw, and you will be surprised at how many fellas that live in Barbados never play basketball yet. The men look so ugly shooting free throws.
Right? Throw it over there.
I'm telling you, Dred. But yeah, we saw teams get there like a good 15, 20 minutes behind and just could not hit 2 free throws in that time.
Yeah, that could be difficult.
So yeah, so all the lead evaporates then. So that could be a major thing. Obviously, the slick wall is obviously
also
a
another
challenge.
thing with the basketball court is that you talk about the fellas, right? But I've seen on too many occasions, not a lot, too many occasions, women coming there and like they can't even see the ring. Like, I ain't got my glasses. I trade the ball like this. I score.
Hey, that farm that you just showed me, that is actually one of the most accurate farms that they had back in the day.
Rick Barry used to shoot 95% from the platform.
And so let me be like, hey, man, take it. So yeah, that's the beauty of obstacle course racing, and that's the beauty of that particular feature.
It levels the field a little bit.
It does level out the field, and anything can happen.
Yeah. We've gone a little bit long though, so I think we should probably.
We give them an hour and 20, 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
right.
So any other?
James ain't doing 9 anyhow. So.
Yeah, James just gotta make sure that the clap, the right place.
Right. You know, I think.
The dive platform for this year, George.
Yeah.
You going mad?
I have gone mad, but you know I go mad every year. I wanted an airbag,
Right.
because I wanted people to have to try and jump from one side to the other. We are getting an airbag for next year, but the shipping we can supply chain and all this nonsense. It wasn't going to get here in time, so we've added a little wrinkle. I'm not going to reveal it. If you want to see it, come to PEG. You will see. It will be very interesting.
No, trust me, no, you ain't gonna see it. You ain't gonna see it. Especially if you're a competitive individuals or a competitive team, you do not have to see. That's a cakewalk, guys.
Right.
You get there, you
No,
get
I was
knocked
talking
off.
to the spectators.
Right.
Come and see it, and then you will be very impressed. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun
gonna
for
be,
sure.
I think that you've done a great job this year of building up to the event. You've been on this journey since you started with the workouts and then with the benchmark workouts. And it's excited to be here for this weekend right now.
So we just want to get through it and make sure everybody stays safe.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. Remember, after all, bar is fun. So yeah, be competitive, but try and don't get too caught up in winning and losing. Still enjoy the event. And
George is the reason for that. They really introduced that.
What's that?
He's man has always talked about podiums and winning that year.
I also try and tell people to create their own podium, right? So for example, if you're doing bar for the first time, your podium is the finish. If you have a team where you're running might not be as strong, your podium might be top 10, and so on and so forth. You have to create your own podium in your head to give yourself a goal.
It's also, man, don't give praises to people that do open air. It's also, man.
No, I ain't one.
I don't believe in participation medals.
No participation. I don't think that's teach you anything in life.
Exactly.
I've learned this guy today itself, and I recognize that, you know, he could be very competitive in nature, but he made sure that everybody gets what they're supposed to get, you know.
There you go. Darren, you're hired.
Well, with that there, guys, I think that's it. We're going to call it a wrap because we want James from Be Social Podcast, who we're thanking all the time for facilitating the podcast, to be able to get this one out by tomorrow, Friday.
Thank you very much, James, for helping us through this season.
They get your sponsors too before
Come
we go.
and spend some money with Be Social Podcast. It's cheap at twice the price. ICBL team, Open Wave. ICBL team, Competitive Wave. The Republic Bank Corporate Challenge, the Amarone Singles Bar. And then we have BioSteel. We have Ensure Max Protein, Bayview Labs for the testing. Eco Water, of course.
Hydration on the course.
Rubis for giving us the gas vouchers for the volunteers. So yeah, we really have had a good support this year, especially
Peg Farm as well.
Peg Farms.
They've been very accommodating,
Telling
more
you.
accommodating this year
Could never
because
thank them enough. Paul Bourne will mention him specifically. So yeah, come out, spend some money with these people. Glow, Rejuvenate Spa, of course, and obviously Surfside Wellness as well. Come and join Surfside. Just by joining Surfside, you will become a better bar athlete, even if you don't do a workout.
I can attest to that. All right, guys. See y'all guys on over the weekend. I see y'all guys for the next podcast where we're going to be reviewing the bar weekend.